Alright, before we take a look at Castlevania II, we're going to look at the original Game Boy release. This is Castlevania Adventure. Released in 1989, I did not realize that it came out that early. In fact, for the longest time, I didn't know there was Castlevania games on the Game Boy. For whatever reason, these just skipped over me. Anyways, this first one has a lot of issues. The first thing you're going to notice is that it's incredibly slow. Very, very slow moving. You're walking, climbing up ropes. It's very slow. There's some other issues. You cannot attack while you're hanging from a rope. You can't adjust your trajectory in the air after you jump. In fact, you have to be moving before you jump to jump on an arc. Otherwise, you'll just jump straight up. You can't jump and then a millisecond later press the direction. You've got to be pressing the direction first, then jump. That's not a huge deal. Obviously seen that before, especially in a lot of these older games. The bigger deal to me is you can't change direction while you are ducked. So if you're ducked and you're attacking an enemy in front of you and another enemy's coming up from behind you, you've got to stand up to turn around and then duck and attack it. If it's a lower enemy that you would have to duck to hit, you cannot just change directions while you're ducked. There's no sub-weapons, so there's no throwing weapons. So other than upgrading your main whip, there's not really much as far as weapons go. It is an early release, and so I think they just didn't have the programming. I think with some tweaks, it could be a good game. It's got good graphics, it's got great music. Maybe there's some ROM hacks out there that address at least the speed issue. So this is Castlevania II Belmont's Revenge. This came out in 1991, the second Castlevania for the Game Boy, and it addresses some of the issues. Right away, you're going to notice it moves a lot faster. You walk faster, you climb up ropes faster, you can slide down ropes a lot faster. And they've got sub-weapons, so now you've got an axe you can throw. What else? Oh, well, that's about it, unfortunately. You still can't turn around while you're ducked. You still have to be moving before you jump, can't change your trajectory in the air. And I think that's it. I think that's the only major complaints. This one is a lot better. Just the fact it runs a little bit faster, I find it's a little easier to control. Attacking in midair just feels a little, quicker. The controls feel more responsive. Maybe that's just me, but again, the whole thing feels faster, so I guess it makes sense. It just feels better to play, despite the fact you still can't turn around while you're ducked. You can attack while you're hanging from ropes, though, at least. That's another, if I didn't mention that, it's another major thing they fixed. So I think the two biggest issues they fixed, they just didn't fix. Two minor issues, I think they really should have fixed it, being able to turn around while ducked. But nonetheless, great game. A lot better than the first one. Still has excellent graphics, excellent music. You actually select the first 4 levels at least. I'm assuming there's another big level after the first 4, but the first 4 levels you can pick what order you do them in. You can do them in any order, and I don't think it matters what order you do it in. It's not like a Mega Man game there's no reason I don't think that you would need to or want to do one level first, so you can basically do it in any order that you want. As you saw at the beginning of the game, there is a password system, so when you beat a castle, you can continue. Again, I had no idea Game Boy even had Castlevania games. I think there was 3 on the Game Boy. But just completely, like, went under the radar for me, which is strange because, like, I had a subscription to Nintendo Power throughout most of the early to mid 90s. So, and you know, this game was fairly heavily advertised as far as I can tell. I mean, it was developed and published by Konami. How I didn't know these existed, I don't know. I was never a huge Castlevania game on the NES. And it's just because I never knew about it. I didn't, like, I'd never rented it. I didn't know anyone that owned Castlevania. So, like, even the Castlevania games, I think I kind of knew what they were. I think my cousin rented one of the first 2 once, and I vaguely remembered that. But, yeah, I wasn't a huge Castlevania fan on the NES just because I never owned it and never really played it. So maybe that's why I didn't know about the Game Boy games. But, yeah, maybe skip the first one. But I think the second one's actually pretty decent here. So yeah, there you go. Castlevania II, Belmont's Revenge, 1991 for the Game Boy. It plays pretty well for the most part. Again, looks great, music's great. Yeah, check it out. See you guys later.